there are not fewer two-parent families.
With the worst poverty in the developed world. Okay, there's another situation that we just witnessed in Alabama. That senator's race, that special election for senator. Barack Obama, gone from the White House, puts out a robocall to the black folks to get out the vote and go out there and vote for these and save this Democrat's job. I'm like, wait a minute, bro. Did you give him a robocall for that fucking hookworm? Because that shit happened while you was in office. Did you give him a robocall to say we got to do something about the most grinding poverty in the developed world in your state, and you're the one suffering the brunt of it? So here's my point. That was a perfect opportunity. You gotta have a feel for when when someone is at their most vulnerable point. Politics is gang warfare and blood sport. Make no mistake about that. When you see the Democrats are vulnerable, you have to look for points to attack when they were at their most vulnerable. Alabama was when they were at their weakest point. Why? Because they needed that one seat so that they could have more power in the Senate. So that was a perfect opportunity to have a mass public education campaign say, listen, this is what they owe you. They're not paying up. So listen, you want my vote? I'll tell you what, you got to give us this. We just giving it up for free. We hoes.
So I guess back to your analogy, we gotta know what's on the menu. We gotta know what the issue is before we can even fight the issue.
We do know.
Yes.
But we do know what the issues are.
No, we don't. Like how many those issues that he just told you.
No, okay.
Those issues that he just told you.
Okay, but that
because right now most of the view, like if you look at the news, most of the shit that you see is really about Trump or you know some of the people that's higher up in the administration, but you don't hear these local politics that much. You don't hear. Like when he told me the hookworm, that's the first time I heard the hookworm shit. Right. And I feel I'm pretty good at being aware of most of the shit that happens. You know what I mean? Currently. Right. You know, those little things you don't hear all the time. You don't know a lot of the more serious situations because you're sidetracked by the show and mirrors of Trump and all this other shit that's happening.
Well, what I'm
because
saying,
white women are pulling the strings here. White women are pulling the strings. And if people don't like Trump, right? Here's what I say to people. People don't like Trump, wait till you see what's coming after him. Whoa, buddy. What's coming behind Trump is going to be angry white women or trannies. That's going to be your next government. You better get ready. In the meantime,
they say women is coming up now. They say a lot of women is going for office.
White women. And okay, but that's okay. So this is a prime. This right here just hopefully this is just make my point. Do you see what these white women are doing?
I'm trying to see it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, just so how much of what you're seeing on the ground is actually supported by politicians' policy?
What do you mean? Give me specifics.
Okay, so what was it? What was this group that made like $14 fucking million and like what was like two?
That's the Time's Up. And to go to your point, they did mobilize. They did their own thing, but also part of the money is going into a defense fund, and also they're trying to change legislation. So they are trying to change.
No. See, that's the key. That's the key. You said trying to change legislation, right?
Right.
No, so that means that they are mobilizing way before the policy is enacted. That's what I'm talking about.
Look at who. And I agree with you, but the fact is, we're agreeing about different points.
No. It's just saying they're motivated by they're motivated by this issue, right? And they're banding together to go ahead and do what they need to do. What I'm asking you is if that's what the formula is. If the formula is you get together and then you go ahead and you get your fucking money and you listen, motherfucker, this is what we need or whatever. If that's the formula, how do we get black people to start with X?
Okay, how about this? The first thing we have to understand, all right, listen, You and I, the three of us here, I'm assuming we're all three heterosexual black men who like to build and marry black women.
Correct.
I'm assuming that
Oh
we all
wait, go
we,
first. Wait,
Correct.
Dane, you comment first. I didn't know if you commented. I said yes, correct. I agree with that statement.
Yeah, I think I threw the hand up. I didn't know if y'all saw it, but yeah,
okay.
correct. Correct.
now my question is this here. Our politics is it comes straight out of that. We want stable families. What promotes that? Laws that support the building of stable families. We want to talk about where to get our issues from. What are the issues? Just look around you. We are raising children. That requires education. The minute we get into education deep enough, we'll find out that that's going to be a war for control.
Mhm.
So then we'll find out, are black women and white women really mutual allies? Because when you start getting into the fight over public education dollars, that's where friends become enemies. So the politics that are involved in family life, the issues are right there. We just have to look at the issues, parse them out. Okay.
And you know, just to try to answer your question a little bit more directly, Jake, I feel you on that. Don't get me wrong. We do need economics, but there are different sides of economics. There's entrepreneurial. If you can't get the economics that way, is where you put your money. Is local politics. But at the end of the day, it's all mobilization. If you can't get that mobilization, period, it doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you go out there and do your own business if your money is not going into the right places. It doesn't matter
What I'm
who
saying.
you vote for if you're not voting for the right person. So it doesn't necessarily matter where you start. It's that initial mobilization, and that's the problem.
Well,
And that is a bigger mindset altogether.
okay, so then give me all I want is give me another starting point. If I gave you one, tell me another starting point, right?
All of those are the starting points that I tell you. Basically, you can start your own business. Basically, you could put your. I mean, this is really 101. Black Power 101 is basically you buy black, share black. It's voting in local economics. This is
Right.
nothing that we don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? These are all the same starting points.
Right.
The starting points, again, do not matter unless you don't have the numbers behind it.
No.
We already
forget
know where the
about the
starting points are.
forget about the economical starting point. Give me another one. If the argument,
I mean, educational wise.
Okay,
I mean, if you have
perfect.
educational wise, you have like all the stuff. No, pretty much all the stuff that he said. As far as political, as far as your vote counting, if you actually make them fight for your vote, that's another starting point. If they actually have to worry about losing their seat or losing their status because the fact is they know this group of people is not going to fight for them, that's another starting point because now they're more willing to listen to your point and try to fight for what you actually really need.
So here's my
that's the whole idea behind local politics.
So
that's kind of start there and then move up federal.
So here's my question. Okay, so Ray brought up hookworm. I heard it loosely the other day talking to my man Manley. He mentions it, right? That's where I got first was brought to my attention. You told me that you didn't even hear about it, right? But let's ask. Okay. So and you live in Georgia. Ray lives in New York, and I live in Pennsylvania, right? So let's just say media coverage didn't put it out there, right? And none of us knew, me, you, or Ray. But what about in Alabama, where the shit is going on? You mean to tell me that nobody down there is thinking the way you thinking? Nobody's thinking the way you or Ray is thinking?
There is, but
I'm talking about boots
we go back to mobilization, Jay. Like if you have stuff.
What I'm saying is the people in Alabama who are experiencing this issue. You're telling me there's nobody in politics, aspirations of being in politics, or people who just have their own who understand what's needed in the community. Nobody said anything about listen.
I'm saying most of those politicians probably don't care. The reason why, like if you look at that, you look at Flint, and Flint is not even the only spot. You look at all these places because they figured they could get away with it because they don't have to worry about those people. The fact is those people are slept on. The fact is, even though a few people might know about it, if you actually don't hear about it, then those people's voices don't even matter. If you don't have to worry about when the election comes, these people trying to vote you out, we could skim on their on whatever they need to clean up their water or anything else. Like this is the point of politics. This is what it is. It doesn't care that the politician knows. It matters that the politician cares or the politician worries about something. You got to give them that worry.
And
Right.
You gotta make
X. And that's what X is. I want you to tell me what X, because if and I'm talking about outside of economical, because that's what I'm focused on. And you said,
and that's the point of politics. That's the point of, if you don't have any people, like I'm pretty sure half those people, most likely there is, I'm going to assume that is lower income poverty neighborhood.
Mhm.
Most that either don't vote or the way it's set up, gerrymandering or whatever else, their vote doesn't count as much.
Mhm.
Where those people don't have to be worried about. That's the system you got to fix. In you got to fix whether to do gerrymandering, you got to fix their voting knowledge and stuff that they actually need. That is part of that mobilization where they can actually go out there and vote, so where they can have more of a say so when it comes to politics. That is part of X right there.
Here's my thinking that, and listening to that and what Ray, that's suggesting that there is somebody in this political institution right now that's ready to fucking do exactly what you guys are talking about.
I'm not assuming all of that.
Well,
I'm not assuming any of that.
Okay,
Because my point of view is it has nothing to do with the politician. It has to do with the people that elect the politicians. It has nothing. If you're really talking about society that's supposed to be democratic, it doesn't really matter the office. It matters what the people want from that person in the office. That is what a democratic society is. So my suggestion got nothing to do with the politician itself. It has to do with the people.
That's
Well,
it. You
okay.
have to get back to how the role of the individual. This all begins with the individual. Why is it that the primaries, the presidential primaries, start in New Hampshire and Iowa? Those those two states. If you look at the Iowa caucus and the New Hampshire primaries, what you're looking at is basically a statewide block association. That's basically what you're looking at. Iowa, the Iowa caucus, that caucus ain't nothing but a block meeting. It's a statewide block meeting. That's all it is. So we have to ask ourselves now, they have an understanding of themselves that makes them move like that. All right. And I'm not trying to make this oversimplified, but they have an understanding of themselves that makes them.
No, because that not
Like
oversimplifying, because that's my point.
But not only do they have an understanding of themselves, they have a history of having having state and federal government support their vision of themselves. This is not the case for you and I.
Right.
You've already lived a life where we've demonstrated that we had that respect for ourselves. But the state and federal governments and the civil society, this is important. Well, if you look around what happened in Chicago, you had places like the Kenwood Neighborhood Improvement Association. This is basically a big block association that was united to prevent African-American access to housing. And they were backed up by the federal government. So for us, it's another layer of awareness. We have to understand that our vision for our life, the way it ought to be, is a problem for the governments, city, state, and federal. It is a problem. And we have to learn, once you see that, it automatically means a problem for somebody. We have to understand that somebody is going to be pissed off by us agitating on our own behalf. It's just the way it is. What we have to do now is begin to see, we're talking about celebrity here, we have to begin to see these celebrities, identify them, and neutralize their ability. Turn them off. Simple. We have to get these people out of the way. This is going to be a problem for progress in the future. being that we're talking about black celebrity.
So let me ask this question, Ray. So let's say, for instance, let's use reality gurus for instance, right? Let's say this shit gets to a point where people are interested, generating some revenue, ads, all kinds of deals, right? We turn into some kinds of celebrity, right? Does that mean we now need to shut the fuck up and go enjoy our money? Because we now are out of touch of what's going on in the inner cities and in some of these impoverished neighborhoods in the United States. Do we just leave,
Depends on
knowing that where we came from?
depends on your intention. If your intention, if the intention behind becoming a celebrity is to get yours, then that's what you're going to do. But if the intention is to provide information, you see what I'm saying? If the intention is to provide information, necessary information, you know what I mean?
All of the above. What if the answer is all of the above? What if I say to you that
Mhm.
I understand, like,
Mhm.
just because me looking at the situation, I understand that I am not going to be able to convince these these people of anything as long as I'm down
Mhm.
here. As long as I'm down here. As long as I'm right here in a building right next to you, an apartment right next to you, you're not going to listen to anything that I have to say because
Mhm.
in your mind it's simply as you may be thinking, oh nigga, you right here where I am. How the fuck do you know anything? And
Right.
and so okay, so if I'm dealing with a simple mind and I said, all right, I still want to help you, but I can't help you from this level. So, I'm gonna go ahead and just do what I normally do. I'm out there working, whatever, Next thing you know, I'm no longer working at, Worldwide Flight Services. Now I'm working for the government. Right? And now I'm on another level and I'm still talking to you. I'm like, yo, check this out. See how this works? You know what I mean? We was down there doing that bullshit years ago, but I filled out this application and now I'm here. All you gotta do is take this application, do the same thing. Yeah, I got you, man. But how much you making? Yeah, I make well, that ain't much money, no problem. I still want to help you though. So
Mhm.
now I go to the next level. I'm out of the Secret Service now. PG Clean Janitorial started. I'm not in no system. No one pays. No one tells me what schedule. None of that. I'm all independent, right? And then these people are still watching me, still seeing me. Every now and again, I'm down here doing. Now I come back to you, yo. Check this out, bro. Um, you were maybe I wasn't, all the way right with the government strategy, but where I am now, oh, this shit is so much better, and
Mhm.
you can see what I'm doing.
Mhm.
It's not like this is just talk. I'm not sitting in an apartment next to you talking about these pipe dreams. I'm living this shit, right?
Mhm.
So eventually, if I'm listening to what like you were suggesting, eventually I'm gonna push myself to a level so far that now I'm gonna have to watch what the fuck I say. Because now I may say something that adversely influences somebody in the community that I'm trying to help. This is what I'm saying. This is why I just can't
That's
push
exactly
the
what
black
it means.
celebrity. Say again.
Yeah,
That's
but I think I mean, part of that also is staying in your lane. If you're not as knowledgeable about certain subject, then you pass the subject on to somebody else that does know. I mean, if you put it into the reality gurus frame, the fact that this is more of a talk situation, that we could bring people on that's knowledgeable about more situations.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I have slight knowledge about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear somebody like Ray who has more of a grasp on history, that builds the situation even more. That builds the conversation even more.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a thing where we have the Googles where we're trying to bring in people to have their own conversations for what we're geared, what I take from it, what we're trying to do. That's what you need more of. You need more people talking about the situations that matter. So in that frame, yeah, it's good. That is different than somebody who their lane is rap or their lane is actor, and they're trying to speak about a situation they're not fully aware of because they put in the hot seat for a minute.
I will say that throughout history, there's been plenty of individuals, intellectuals, smart, and
I agree.
and I'm just saying, hot mic. They're in front of the mic, and you
Mhm.
say something, and could be taken out of context, or
Mhm.
even
Yeah.
after they say it, damn man, I wish I would have said that
Hmm.
another way. That doesn't take away from their intentions,
Well, I don't
especially
know.
if
But me, intentions is always all right to a certain point, but it's the final act that's worth more to me. But
Mhm.
I mean,
I
it's
just all I want to
tricky
know,
on that
Dame, is
aspect.
if we're not using the economical starting point, right? And I just want to know then where else would you start? I'm talking
I
about dealing
already
with
said it. I already said it. I mean, I kind of think you
what I okay. So
have
when
more than
I
one
heard what
starting point,
this is what I
huh?
mean. This is what I mean. Maybe I gotta express it a little better, right? I Because I'm tired, me personally, tired of trying to all right, so let's say, lack of a better term, convince, right? People that there's another way for us to approach, these things so we can just live better overall, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm tired of having that conversation on a one-on-one basis, and
Hmm.
I'm understanding that people kind of pay attention to things that they see.
Hmm.
So I'm talking about actually going out there and trying to do something, and I
Well,
say this.
I'm cool with that. If you're using that to draw them in, but then what is the final result after that once you brought them in?
The
And I
final
think
result,
that's the part
okay,
of the
the
conversation. I
the
mean, yeah, I mean you start talking about basically. Okay, I would put it like this. I remember David Banner talking about how when he saw the Black Panthers, a part of the allure was the fact that them carrying guns, them dressing up, their militarization, like it was basically the whole aura of the Black Panther Party that drew him in.
right,
So it was that cool factor
right,
that kind of drew him in. But then you also had what they started doing, the lunch programs,
programs, right.
the seafood. Yeah, you had all these other things that went with it. So you drew people in, you started getting more people in, and you started building a movement.
That's it.
I could see that, but you have to have that other point. It's like, what if
But it's
I
coming
mean,
though.
I guess it
But
goes
see,
back to that intention, right? If
I
you
just
have that intention, but where are you leading them after that?
okay. So
Where are
But
you actually taking
You
them?
know where I'm leading them? I'm leading them straight to you, straight
That's
to
you,
Ray.
Jay, and I agree. But we're talking about black celebrities overall.
Well, no,
You know what I mean? And
all I'm
that's
doing is talking about adjusting the formula a little bit. That's it.
well, I feel you on that. Okay, I
I'm
could.
just saying. I'm just saying. Let's not argue over or debate over. Let's just say, okay, listen, I respect the policy part of it, and I respect it so much that I'm going to start here, and once I, hopefully train, but hopefully enough people, we create enough of a following where people understand how money works, understand how business works. I'm gonna send them to you. Why I'm gonna send them to you now? Because now that they understand how money works and how business works, they can say, "Fuck, man, I need to figure out a way to save more money here." They do some research, find out that there's some laws and stuff out there that are, let's say, are protecting, or there's other groups of individuals that are benefiting from a certain type of law. That's fucked up. How come I can't benefit? But how the hell do they even know about that if they don't know shit about business and shit about money? I just want to get them to that point so you can work with them. Y'all can't
And
work with none of these motherfuckers right now.
that's how it should go. I agree. That's how it should go.
That's all I'm
well,
But
saying.
I mean, it's still good to have that conversation because the fact is, some people already take that step. Some people found their way where they just need the extra push to go
Right,
even a little bit further.
right.
well, I keep going back to because I got to get ready to go. But I
I
keep
know,
going.
Sorry, Ray, but I appreciate
No,
it.
no,
Go
no,
ahead,
it's
bro.
cool. I keep going back to this one thing, right? Let's say right now Greg is in business, right? Let's say his model multiplied by I don't know 1,000 black people, descendants of slaves. Uh, we have to understand and be guided by history to understand that whenever, I mean every single time, in every single instance, the descendants of slaves had amassed enough economic power, it was smashed. If it wasn't smashed, it was bulldozed. If it wasn't smashed or bulldozed, it was they put a highway through it, which is basically bulldozing. We need to understand right now. This is another thing that needs to come up for conversation later on. The Byron Allen lawsuit.
Ray, listen.
He's suing,
I can't wait to talk about that. Go ahead.
he's suing under the Civil Rights Act of 1866. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 is the precursor to the 14th Amendment. Why is this man? He's already amassed all the money.
Mm-hmm.
He's already amassed the money. He's at the end of what you're talking about. He's already done that.
Right.
But there's a door he can't get through. There was a door he could not get through. Then he had to turn around and do what? He had to go into the history. It was the Civil Rights Act of 1866 that basically, if you read that and the 14th Amendment, they look almost the same. The 14th Amendment was 1868. This is 1866. But what it was doing was it was an attempt. It was an act. Watch this. It was an act that was meant to protect the ex-slaves specifically. We were the occasion for that. They said later on, you know what? This is not strong enough. We have to put this act into the body of law that is the government of the United States, the Constitution. So they took our situation and wrote it into the Constitution permanently. We got to understand the Reconstruction. I don't know if we understand Reconstruction, but Reconstruction is another way of saying federal government sponsored Black power. Federal government sponsored Black empowerment. That's what Reconstruction was. When they overturned Reconstruction, Reconstruction is like a code word that hides Black power. So what they did was, when they overturned Reconstruction on my birthday in 1877, they overturned Black power and they sealed the situation for centuries, so that they would so that everyone would understand. You see them right there, them niggas over there. No, not the West Indian, no, not the African, no, them. They were specific like that. They'll never have shit. And when we'll let a few of them get through, but no, they will never amass wealth and political power. Well, political power first, because political power is how you amass wealth. Right now, Greg is building money, making money. Wealth is another matter. And they said that we will never have this. So am I saying that we're supposed to just acquiesce? No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is, check Byron Allen. That's what I'm saying. Check Byron Allen.
We're gonna talk. Dan, you familiar with the loosely with the Byron Allen situation?
Nah, I'm not, but I'm gonna read it.
Brother, please, man.
Check that Byron Allen.
Man.
He's suing the Obama White House. Well, he's gone now, but he sued the FCC, Charter Communications, Comcast, AT&T. A Black judge, to show you how we can't just trust Black faces in high places. A Black judge threw his lawsuit out. A Chinese judge said, no. This lawsuit is good. It's going to move forward. We got problems. So Byron Allen, he's already amassed the money. He's done what Greg has done. He's done it. He got to a door. Said, no niggas allowed. You're not going to get this far. So he had to go back to the beginning. Why 1866? Because this is the beginning of the framing of our legal status. We need to understand. Maybe one day we can have a conversation. Maybe you can wrap it into the Byron Allen case. But you got to understand, we have a peculiar legal status. Please understand.
No, Ray,
we have a unique legal status in America. It's very, very strange, and we need time to flesh it out.
These remember those in Democracy the Dollar thing when you were talking about like the super PACs, right? Okay, so that's what I want. Imagine if Say again.
And that's what I was talking about with the black celebrities. Like I feel like if there was that pool of money behind some things that we actually needed, I'm all for it. But you know, we don't have that.
And, well,
But
see, they got. See, the thing is, they too far. It's too much of a risk for them to be. Like for instance, take Colin Kaepernick for instance. Ray said he did not have to do that. That wasn't his job. But think about what happened once he did. It's like one of those examples, man. You know, the slave ran away, and listen, I'm gonna chop his fucking foot off. So the rest of you motherfuckers don't think about, you know, running away. So Byron Allen.
But you know, I feel that's kind of the same. Well, at least when it comes to certain celebrities, that's the same thing. What I was saying with as far as politicians and the ones that elect them is that we're the ones that make these people celebrities by buying into whatever the product is.
Mm-hmm.
We still have that power to actually have that celebrity do something about it.
That's why this is the reason why I think it's bullshit that we can't do this shit not say immediately, because we got the money. We have the what is it? There's 9 other fucking countries.
Right.
9 other countries that what is how is it a gross national product of we have the out there was only 9 other developed countries with the gross national product more than the descendants of the slaves have, right?
that's debatable.
Okay. So Ray, let me say this. Even if it wasn't 9, what if it was 50?
No, I'm not talking about the fact that it's 9 countries. I'm talking about the fact that the idea that we have that wealth. I mean,
well, I mean spending power. I'm thinking the spending power actually.
Let's talk about spending power.
Okay.
When I look at the reality, the data that comes out of the Federal Reserve, when they do consumer surveys, the data on us is not what we've been told. The data on us says that the middle black family has a net worth, hard cash, somewhere around $1,000. That's the data. Believe me, I was with the idea too. You know, the black spending power at however many 1.3 trillion, until somebody pulled me and made me look at the data. Like, yo, that's a myth. We gotta rethink this whole. We've been running on assumptions. Bro, black celebrity is an assumption and a burden from decades past. There's a lot of things we gotta reassess. A lot of things. The typical black single female mother, the typical black single female parent. One study found she's worth $5. I'm talking about data.
Yeah.
I mean, we do a lot of reassessments here. Data. I mean, there's a lot. Listen, the economic data, and it's so projected into the future. We forget that article we were discussing last time. 0 net wealth by 2053. That does not reflect. That spending power thing has to be reevaluated. It's a myth.
Well, okay, so just
so yeah, I mean, y'all, can we wrap it up? Because I'm kind of getting pissed that we're not taping this right now.
I am taping it. It's just we can't see each other though. I can't see you though.
Okay. Take the notes. Take the notes and we'll pick it up.
I'm recording everything we talked about. I recorded. It's just, you know, I don't have you guys' pictures and stuff. But
maybe you can release it as another segment.
Absolutely, a Guru's on the go, overtime. Whatever the fuck you want to call it. I just so I don't lose. Shit, my yeah, I just lost it. What's that last thing you said, Ray? Damn it, just get me back on track again.
I know you're saying about being so far in the future with the 0 median wealth that we're not focused.
Right.
2.3 zero median wealth for our category by 2053. Typical single female mother, net worth $5. Typical family, black household, median $1,000 hard cash. You know, so this is the data. I'm not talking about rumors, because I used to spout the same rumors. I'm
looking at it in terms of, okay, so when you think about because again, I want to make sure that I have spending power, the like the true definition of spending power,
Right.
correct before I. So I was thinking of spending power in terms of, um, you know, the money that we make, through jobs, investments, or whatever. What we can actually buy once everything is put in a pool. That's what I was thinking when you say spending power. The money that we earn either through, a job, your investments, or whatever. Once you put it all together, how much money that is, it equaled up to 1.3 or whatever. That's what I was thinking. If I'm incorrect in that, tell me, because then
I
I'm gonna have to
mean,
read.
again, a lot of these figures. Okay, the when that idea of 1.3 trillion, when that what got blown apart for me, was when the researchers were asking the question, like, how can they even measure that? I was like, oh shit.
And I kind of wonder, and this is not me knowing any kind of math or whatever,
Right.
but that is the whole amount of Black America period, right?
That's what I
they
was
claim.
thinking. That's what I was thinking. Right.
Claim. Now
Okay.
that's what they claim.
But that's what I'm wondering, because then you have a law of averages. That basically now I wonder, because you have, of course, higher ups, you have and have nots, regardless of color. That I think when you think about the averages, you're probably less. When you look more intricately, like I guess when you're saying with the Black mother and everything else, that you see more in that lower pool of people making money than the ones higher up.
When you
I'm
look
wondering.
when I looked at the data myself and the
Uh-huh.
studies and the articles myself, there's so little Black wealth that you take all of the NBA, take all of the entertainers together, and it still don't make a dent. That's the reality.
Okay.
So right now, the typical immigrant walking up here across the desert from out of Central America, he's going to get ahead faster than us. Why? Policies, laws that were written for us. You know what I mean? Listen, man, my phone is ringing. Let me
Ray,
get it out.
listen, my man. Go ahead, have a good day at work, bro, and we're gonna
Good.
get back to it. All right.
Peace.
All right.